श्री Bhaktivinod Thakur ki jai, Krishna Samhita ki jai. Vatsalye sneha paryanta priti dravamai sati kanta bhave cha tat sarvam militam vartate khila manaraganuragasha mahabhavisheshata Vaikunte bhagavan shyama grihastha kulapalakha yathatra lakshyate jiva swagane pariveshtita shantadasha sakhasaiva pitaro yoshita satha sarve te sevakagniya sevya Krishna priya satam sarvagnya dhriti samarthya vicharapatuta kshama prita vekatmata prapta Vaikunthe dvaya vastuni chitravatma sada tatra kalindi virajanadi chidadhara swarupasa bhumi satra virajate lata kunja griha dvara prasada toranani sarvani chidvishishtani Vaikunthe doshavarjite Chichakti nirmitam sarvam Yad Vaikunthe sanatanam Pratibhatam prapanchesmin Jararupamalanvitam Sadbhave api visheshasya Sarvam tam nityadhamani Akhanda sachidananda Swarupam prakrite param Jivanam siddha sadvanam Nitya siddhimataamapi Etan nitya sukham shashvat Krishna dasye niyojitam Vakyanam jarajanyatvam Na shakta me saraswati Varnane vimalananda Vilasasya chidatmana Tathapi sarajudvritya Samadhimavalamya vai Varnita bhagavata varta Maya bodhya samadhina yasyeha vartate priti Krishne vraja vilasini tasyevatma samadhatu Vaikuntha lakshyate swata Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jaya Bhaktivinod Thakur Jaya Bhaktivinod Thakur Jaya Bhaktivinod Thakur Jaya Bhaktivinod Thakur Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Hidaya Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Shri Bhaktivinod Thakur Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. Well done. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Big long bhajan. So Nandiben, would you like to read? It's quite a lengthy explanation. From there. Are you there, Nandiben? Oh, you muted, huh? Okay.
In Vatsalya Ras, this affection flows up to Snehbhav, affection with ecstatic sentiments. But when Kanta Bhav or conjugal Ras appears, then all the above emotions mix with man, jealous anger, rag, attachment, anurag, further attachment, and Mahabhav, great ecstasy. Just as the living entities are surrounded by relatives and engaged in household activities in the material world, Lord Krishna is engaged in the same way in Vaikuntha. All the associates in Shant, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya are servants of the Lord. Shri Krishna is the beloved Lord and object of worship of those devotees. In the affection of the absolute realm of Vaikuntha, all qualities like omniscience, forbearance, ability, consideration, expertness, and forgiveness are in complete harmony. Due to an absence of affection in the material world, those qualities appear distinct. The Vraj river eternally flows to the outer circle of Vaikuntha. The Kalindi river eternally flows to the eternal inner circle. Both rivers are transcendental to the mode of passion. The indescribable land, there is the resting place of all pure souls. All the creepers, palaces, houses, and gateways are fully spiritual and free of all fault. The influence of time and place cannot pollute those things. Some people try to impose their material conceptions on the nature of Vaikuntha and thus become overwhelmed by prejudices. Later, they try to establish these prejudices by the shrewd arguments. Such descriptions of Vaikuntha and the pastimes of the Lord, however, are actually all material. These types of conclusions arise only due to the improper knowledge of the absolute truth. Only those who have not deeply discussed spiritual topics will have the propensity to rationalize in this way. The doubtful hearts of the Madhyam Adhikaris are always swinging between the material and spiritual due to their being unable to cross into the realm of the absolute truth. Actually, the variegated nature seen in the material world is only a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. The difference between the material and spiritual worlds is this. In the spiritual world, everything is blissful and faultless, whereas in the material world, everything is a temporary mixture of happiness and distress, full of impurities arising from time and place. Therefore, the descriptions of the spiritual world are not imitations of those of the material world. Rather, they are most coveted ideals. The splendor of the spiritual abode is established by the quality of variegated nature. Although that splendor is eternal, Vaikuntha is nevertheless non-dual and constitutionally eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. The material world consists of dualities arising from time, place, and circumstances. Yet, because Vaikuntha is transcendental to the material creation, it is devoid of duality and fault. Eternal servitude of Lord Krishna is the eternal happiness of those who are eternally perfect and those who have achieved perfection. It is beyond my power of speech to describe the pure ecstatic pastimes of the living entities, because the words I would use in such descriptions are products of the material world. Although I'm unable to clearly describe these topics by words, by samadhi and the process of sarjut, I have described the topics of the Lord to the best of my ability. If one simply takes the insignificant literal meanings of these words, then one will not properly realize the described subject. I therefore request the reader to try and realize this truth through samadhi. One should try to understand subtle points from gross statements, as in Arundhati Niyaya, when one points out a faint star with the help of a bright star. The process of argument is useless because it cannot lead one to the absolute truth. The subtle process of directly perceiving the soul is called samadhi. I've given these descriptions based on this process. The reader should also follow this process to realize the truth. Vaikuntha can be naturally perceived through the samadhi of those uttam adhikaris who have attained love for Krishna, who performs pastimes in Raj. The Kanishta adhikaris and the Madhyam adhikaris are not yet qualified in this regard, because such truths cannot be realized by reading or argument. Kanishta adhikaris who consider the scriptures as the only authority and the logicians who consider themselves liberated are both unable to advance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Incredible bhajan. 34 sloks. Here you go.
So this was a Sri Krishna Tattva Nirdesha Kripa by Bhaktivinod Thakur from the Krishna Samhita.
Well done to Karuna, who sang all of these verses, and to all the devotees who
Been reading.
Yes,
the
Surinder, Sitaram, Naniven, thank you so much. Really good.